A boy shocks a courtroom. Calling the judge his mom, her stunned reaction unveils a hidden truth. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for gripping weekly tales. The courtroom buzzed with a low hum, the air thick with the rustle of papers and the creak of wooden benches. But Elijah's small voice sliced through it like a thunderclap. "You're my mom," he shouted, his finger jabbing toward the judge's bench, his 7-year-old frame trembling in a too-big suit. The room froze, every eye snapping to the black boy standing beside his foster dad, Mr. Carter, whose hand hovered. Stunned, mid-gesture, Judge Vivian Harris, poised behind the gavel, went rigid, her robes a stark contrast to her paling face. Her dark eyes wide with shock. Gasps rippled through the gallery, lawyers, clerks, spectators, all caught in the electric moment. Elijah's words hung, raw and impossible, the weight of them cracking the courtroom's order. Vivian's gavel slipped, clattering to the bench, the sound sharp in the silence. Order, she snapped, voice cracking, but her gaze locked on Elijah, his brown eyes fierce, unyielding, a mirror of a pain she'd buried years ago. The case, a routine custody hearing for Elijah, whose foster parents were finalizing adoption, had just detonated into something unthinkable. Mr. Carter, a broad-shouldered man with a gentle face, pulled Elijah close, whispering, "Buddy, what are you saying?" But Elijah shook his head, braids swaying, his voice louder now. "It's her, I know it," spectators whispered, phones slipping out despite the bailiff's glare, and the plaintiff's lawyer, a wiry woman in a gray suit, stood, voice sharp. "Your Honor, this is irrelevant." The child's confused, but Vivian didn't respond. Her hands gripping the bench, knuckles whitening, her mind spiraling to a hospital room 7 years ago, a premature birth, a doctor's grim voice, a tiny coffin she'd never seen. She'd been told her son died, her grief a shadow she'd carried through every ruling, every night alone. Elijah's claim was madness, yet his eyes, his certainty, clawed at her heart. The bailiff, a burly man, stepped forward, voice low. "Your Honor," Vivian shook herself, forcing composure. Her voice brittle. "Recess. 10 minutes. She banged the gavel, the sound final, and fled to her chambers, robes billowing, the courtroom erupting behind her, lawyers arguing, spectators buzzing, Mr. Carter's voice soothing Elijah, who refused to back down. In her chambers, Vivian sank into her chair, hands shaking, the oak-paneled walls closing in. Elijah's face burned in her mind, a ghost of the son she'd lost, or a thought she'd lost. She grabbed her phone, scrolling to an old photo, a blurry ultrasound, her only relic of that pregnancy. The dates aligned, but it was impossible, wasn't it? A knock jolted her clerk. Sarah, eyes wide. "Judge Harris, the press is outside. They heard the boy. It's going viral." Vivian's stomach lurched. This wasn't just personal now. It was a storm. "Keep them out," she ordered, voice sharp. But Sarah hesitated. "The boy's foster dad wants to talk. He's upset." Vivian nodded, steeling herself. And moments later, Mr. Carter stood in her doorway, Elijah clutching his hand, eyes defiant but wet. "I'm sorry, Your Honor," Carter said, voice strained. "He's been having dreams, talking about a mom he never met. I didn't know he'd—" Elijah cut him off, stepping forward, voice small but fierce. "It's not a dream. I saw you in my head, in a white room, singing to me." Vivian's breath caught, her memory flashing a hospital bed, her voice humming a lullaby to a baby she had never held. She knelt, meeting Elijah's gaze, her voice barely a whisper. "How do you know?" That Elijah's lip quivered, but he held firm. "I just do." The room spun, Vivian's heart pounding as Mr. Carter pulled Elijah back, his voice gentle but firm. "We need to stop this. For his sake. But Vivian's mind was racing, pieces falling into place, her son's death certificate, signed too quickly. The hospitals rushed to close the case. She stood, voice steady despite the tremor. Mr. Carter, I'm ordering an investigation. Hospital records, adoption files, everything. His eyes widened, a mix of fear and hope, and Elijah's face lit up, a smile breaking through. The bailiff burst in, voice urgent. Your Honor, reporters are pushing past security. Vivian's jaw tightened. This was no longer a courtroom matter. It was a reckoning. She straightened her robes, facing Elijah, his certainty a spark igniting her own. We'll find the truth, she said, and he nodded, small hand gripping Mr. Carter's. As they left, Vivian grabbed her phone, dialing her old attorney. Voice low, dig into Mercy General, 2018. My son. The call ended, and she strode back to the courtroom, the buzz of chaos growing louder, cameras flashing through the doors. The gavel waited. But this wasn't about rulings anymore. It was about a boy who'd shattered her world, and a truth that refused to stay buried. Vivian's heart raced, Elijah's voice echoing, the storm just beginning. Vivian Harris's chambers felt like a bunker, the oak-paneled walls closing in as she gripped the edge of her desk, her judicial robes discarded in a heap. Elijah's voice, "You're my mom," echoed in her skull, a 7-year-old's certainty shattering the armor she'd built over years of grief. The courtroom chaos from yesterday had spilled into the night, reporters swarming the courthouse steps, their cameras flashing like gunfire, headlines screaming "Sual Clistes judge" as mother in shocking outburst. Her phone buzzed relentlessly colleagues, reporters. Her clerk Sarah warning of viral videos capturing Elijah's pointed finger. Her own stunned face, Vivian silenced it. Her pulse a war drum. Her mind clawing at the impossible, her son, lost in a premature birth 7 years ago. Dead, or so she'd been told. Elijah's eyes, his braids, his voice singing a lullaby only she knew, tore at her certainty. And the hospital's rushed paperwork from 2018 now loomed like a lie. She'd ordered an investigation, Mercy General's records, adoption files, but the weight of public scrutiny and her own doubt threatened to crush her. A knock snapped her back, Sarah's voice urgent. Your Honor, the Chief Judge is here. Vivian straightened, forcing composure, and Judge Reynolds, a stern man with gray temples, entered, his face a mask of disapproval. Vivian, this is a circus, he said, tossing a tablet on her desk, its screen glowing with news clips. The Bar Association's questioning your impartiality. You need to recuse yourself from the boy's case. Vivian's jaw tightened, her voice low, sharp. I'm not stepping down. If there's truth to this, I'm finding it. Reynolds leaned in, voice colder. You're risking your career. The public thinks you're unhinged, or worse, complicit in some scam. The words stung, but Vivian stood, her eyes blazing. Then let them investigate. I'm not running. Reynolds shook his head, leaving with a warning, get this under control, or you're off the bench. The door slammed, and Vivian's hands shook. Not from fear, but from a fire kindled by Elijah's certainty. She grabbed her coat, determination overriding protocol. She needed to see him now. At the Carter home, a modest row house across town, Elijah sat on a sagging couch, clutching a worn stuffed lion, his foster dad, Mr. Carter, pacing the living room. The TV blared news about the courtroom outburst, and Elijah's small frame tensed, his eyes fixed on a photo of Vivian from the broadcast. That's her, he whispered, voice fierce, his braids swaying as he leaned forward. Mr. Carter, his face etched with worry, knelt beside him. Eli, you can't just say things like that. It's confusing everyone. Elijah's lip quivered, but his voice held steady. I'm not confused. I dream about her, in a white room, singing. She's my mom. Mr. Carter sighed, his hand gentle on Elijah's shoulder, but his eyes betrayed fear of losing the boy he'd raised, of a truth too big to face. A knock at the door startled them, and Mr. Carter opened it to find Vivian, her face pale but resolute. No robes, just a woman chasing a ghost. "I need to talk to him," she said, voice low, and Mr. Carter hesitated, glancing at Elijah, who jumped up, lion forgotten. "Let her in," Elijah said, and Mr. Carter stepped aside, tension crackling. Vivian entered, her breath catching as she met Elijah's eyes, their intensity a mirror of her own. "Why do you think I'm your mom?" she asked, kneeling, her voice safe but urgent. Elijah stepped closer, unafraid. "I see you in my dreams, holding me, singing Hush Little Baby. I know it's you." Vivian's heart stopped the lullaby she'd sung in that hospital room, her only moment with her son before he was taken. Her hand trembled, reaching out, but Mr. Carter stepped between them, voice sharp. "This is too much for him. You're a judge, not his family." Vivian stood, her voice steady despite the ache. "I'm not here to take him. I need the truth, for both of us." Elijah grabbed her hand, small fingers tight. "You believe me, don't you?" Vivian's throat burned, her nod barely perceptible. But it was enough. Elijah's face lit up, a spark in the storm. The investigation moved fast. Vivian's attorney, Ms. Patel, digging into Mercy General's records with a private investigator. By evening, they met in Vivian's chambers, papers strewn across her desk, the air heavy with discovery. Ms. Patel's voice was grim. "We found your son's file. The death certificate was signed, but there's no autopsy, no burial record." And this, she slid a document across, a faded intake form from a foster agency, dated days after Vivian's loss, listing a newborn boy, unnamed, transferred from Mercy General. Vivian's hands shook, the dates aligning, her grief cracking open. "He was alive," she whispered. And Ms. Patel nodded, voice urgent. "There's more. A nurse's log mentions a mix-up, 2 premature babies. One deceased, one transferred. Someone buried the truth." Vivian's mind raced, anger surging. Her son, stolen by error or intent, raised by another while she mourned. She grabbed her phone, calling the hospital's legal team, voice lethal. "I want every record from 2018 or I'm suing for negligence." The call ended, but a new threat loomed. Sarah burst in, tablet in hand. "Your Honor, look at this." A news site headline blared, "Judge Harris accused of manipulating child in custody case." The article, anonymous but venomous, claimed Vivian had coached Elijah to disrupt the adoption, citing her unstable grief. Social media was ablaze, posts demanding her removal, some attacking Elijah as a liar. Vivian's blood boiled. This wasn't random. Someone was fighting to keep the truth buried. "Find the source," she told Ms. Patel, who nodded, already dialing her investigator. Vivian's eyes fell on the foster agency form. Elijah's intake photo clipped to it, a tiny boy, eyes wide, her eyes. She clutched it, resolve hardening. "I'm not losing him again," she said, voice a vow. That night, at the Carter home, Elijah lay awake, the stuffed lion clutched tight, the TV's glow casting shadows. Mr. Carter sat beside him, voice soft. "Eli, this is big. You sure about her?" Elijah nodded, eyes fierce. "She's my mom. I feel it." Outside, a car idled, its occupant unseen. A phone screen glowing with a draft post, "Judge's lies exposed." The storm was growing. Vivian and Elijah at its center. Their bond a fragile spark in a world determined to tear it apart. Vivian, in her apartment, stared at the ultrasound photo. Elijah's words, "Hush, little baby," echoing. Her fight just beginning. Vivian Harris's heart thundered as she slipped through the back entrance of Mercy General Hospital. Her coat pulled tight against the evening chill. Her judicial authority left behind in the courtroom, where Elijah's voice, "You're my mom," had upended her world. Now she moved like a fugitive, driven by a hospital intake form that suggested her son, declared dead 7 years ago, was alive, swapped in a neonatal mix-up. Her attorney, Ms. Patel, had unearthed more a nurse's note from 2018 hinting at 2 premature babies, one deceased, one rushed to foster care, no names, no follow-up, the hospital's silence, screaming cover-up. Vivian's heels clicked on the linoleum, her breath shallow as she followed Ms. Patel's directions to a records room, bypassing security with a forged visitor pass, the weight of her career, her reputation, pressed down. Headlines still raged, judge accused of delusion, and her chief judge's warning echoed, get this under control. But Elijah's eyes, his lullaby, hush little baby, were a fire she couldn't douse. Inside the dimly lit records room, shelves loomed with dusty files, and Vivian's fingers flew, searching for 2018's neonatal logs. Her phone buzzed Sarah, her clerk, warning of reporters sniffing around her apartment, but she ignored it, finding a file labeled NICU transfers, her hands shaking as she opened it, pages yellowed, one entry glaring male infant. 2. One-Obs, transferred to foster agency, no parent notified, no death certificate. Her heart stopped. Elijah, it had to be. But a shadow moved, a janitor's cart rattling, and Vivian froze, shoving the file into her bag, slipping out as the door creaked, her pulse a drumbeat. She needed to see him. Now, at the Carter home. Elijah sat on his bed, clutching his stuffed lion, his foster dad, Mr. Carter, arguing with a social worker in the living room. This is tearing him apart, Mr. Carter snapped, his voice raw. Elijah's dreams of a singing mom had sparked chaos, and now the social worker pushed for counseling. But Elijah slipped out, sneaking to the backyard, his small frame shivering in pajamas. He knew she'd come, his mom, and when Vivian's car pulled up, headlights off, his face lit up, she stepped out, kneeling in the grass, her voice a whisper. Elijah, why me? His eyes blazed. You sang to me. I hear it every night. Vivian's breath caught, her hand reaching for his. But Mr. Carter's voice boomed. What the hell are you doing? He stormed out, yanking Elijah back, his face a mix of fear and fury. You're a judge. You can't just show up. Vivian stood, voice steady. I'm his mother. I have proof. She pulled the file, thrusting it at him. Mr. Carter's eyes widened, scanning the page, his voice breaking. This can't be. I've raised him. Elijah clung to his arm, tears falling. I want both of you. The words gutted Vivian, her resolve wavering, but headlights flashed, a van screeching to a stop, 2 men in suits piling out, one barking. Judge Harris, we need that file. Vivian's blood ran cold. Hospital lawyers, not reporters. They knew she'd found something, but Carter pushed Elijah behind him, voice low. Get out of here. But Vivian stepped forward, file clutched tight. You don't scare me. The men advanced, one grabbing for the file, and Vivian dodged, her elbow slamming into his chest. He staggered, but the other lunged, wrenching her arm. Elijah screamed, stop, and Mr. Carter charged, tackling the man, fists flying. The backyard erupted, neighbors' lights flicking on, dogs barking. Vivian kicked free, sprinting to her car, file in hand, Elijah's voice chasing her. Don't go. She hesitated, heart splitting, but Mr. Carter shouted, go. Now as the men scrambled up, she floored the geese, tires screeching, the van's headlights glaring in her mirror, her mind racing. Mercy General was hiding more than a mix-up. Someone powerful was pulling strings. She called Ms. Patel, voice urgent, They're after the file. We need protection. Patel's voice was grim. Get to my office. I've got a contact at the DA. Vivian's car swerved through traffic, the van gaining. Her hands shaking, but her resolve iron. Elijah's face burned in her mind. His plea, I want both of you, a knife in her chest. She'd lost him once. She wouldn't again. But Mr. Carter's love for him was real, a truth as sharp as her own. The van rammed her bumper, metal crunching, and Vivian gripped the wheel, veering into an alley, losing them in the maze, her breath ragged, the file her only weapon. She reached Mrs. Patel's office, slamming the door. Patel's face pale as she took the file. This is bigger than we thought, she said, flipping to a signature. Elaine Morrow, the hospital's chief of neonatology, a name tied to dozens of sealed cases. Vivian's eyes blazed. She knows something. But a new alert pinged social media posts, anonymous, claiming Elijah was coached. Vivian's grief exploded. The lies were escalating. Someone wanted her silenced. Her career, her son, her truth, all at stake. She sank into a chair, Elijah's lullaby echoing. The fight no longer just hers, but theirs. A mother and son bound by a truth that refused to die. The storm raging, unstoppable. Vivian Harris's pulse roared as she sped through the city's back streets, her car's tires screeching, the stolen hospital file burning a hole in her passenger seat. Its pages proof that Elijah, her son, had been swapped in a 2018 neonatal mix-up. Not dead as Mercy General had claimed. The van that chased her last night was gone, but the threat lingered. Dr. Elaine Morrow's signature on the file, a beacon of corruption. Vivian's attorney, Ms. Patel, had warned her someone powerful was protecting the hospital's secrets. And now, with reporters camped outside her courthouse, social media ablaze with lies about her coaching Elijah. Vivian knew time was running out. She pulled into a dingy diner, a safe meetup spot, where Ms. Patel waited, her face grim. We've got a lead, Patel said, sliding a photo across the table. A grainy shot of a man, mid-50s, exiting Mercy General's admin wing. Carl Jensen, former records clerk, handled neonatal files in 2018. He's been dodging us. Vivian's eyes narrowed, her voice low. He knows something. Patel nodded. He's holed up at a storage facility, rumored to be shredding old records. We move tonight. Vivian's heart raced, the file her only leverage. But Jensen could bury it. She agreed, pocketing the photo, her mind on Elijah. His plea, I want both of you, haunting her. She needed him safe. But Mr. Carter, his foster dad, had barred her from their home. His fear of losing Elijah, a wall she couldn't breach. Meanwhile, at the Carter house, Elijah crouched behind the couch, his stuffed lion clutched tight, his small ears straining as Mr. Carter argued with a social worker on the phone. He's my son. You can't take him. Elijah's heart pounded. The TV replaying courtroom clips, Vivian's stunned face, his own voice calling her mom. But a strange noise drew him to the window, a car idling. A man inside. Jensen. His face matching a photo Elijah had seen in Mr. Carter's mail, a hospital letter about clearing records. Elijah's eyes widened. He'd overheard Jensen on a call last night, whispering about destroying 2018 files at a storage lot. Elijah's small hands shook. He had to tell her. His mom. Slipping out the back door, he darted to a neighbor's, borrowing their phone, dialing the courthouse number he'd memorized. Sarah, Vivian's clerk, answered. Elijah, his voice was urgent. Tell Judge Harris, the man's at the storage place. He's going to burn papers. Sarah relayed the message, and Vivian, now at Ms. Patel's office, froze, her breath catching. Elijah's courage a spark. He's risking everything, she said, grabbing her knees. Patel following. They raced to the storage facility, a sprawl of rusted units under flickering lights. Vivian's car skidded to a stop, her eyes scanning for Jensen. Patel pointed to a unit with a faint glow. There. They crept closer, hearing a shredder's hum. Vivian's heart thundered. The file in her bag, a lifeline. But as they neared, a shadow moved. Jensen, his face gaunt, dumping files into a metal drum, a lighter in his hand. No. Vivian shouted, lunging forward. Jensen spun, lighter sparking, flames licking the drum. Patel tackled him, the lighter skittering across concrete. Vivian stomped the fire, smoke stinging her eyes. But Jensen broke free, grabbing a crowbar, swinging wildly. Vivian dodged, her arm grazed, pain flaring. She kicked his knee, sending him sprawling. Patel pinned him, zip-tying his wrists. The shredder whined, half-chewed paper spilling. Vivian grabbed them, her hands shaking. A neonatal log. Elijah's birth date. Her name. Proof he was hers. You can't hide this, she growled. Jensen's eyes darted, voice desperate. Morrow paid me. It wasn't my idea. Vivian's blood boiled. Dr. Morrow, the hospital's neonatology chief. The puppet master. But headlights flashed. A black SUV screeching up. 2 men piling out. Hospital security. 1 barking. Hand over the files. Vivian clutched the papers. Patel, standing firm. Back off. We've got evidence. The men advanced, one drawing a baton. Vivian's mind raced, Elijah's voice echoing. She couldn't fail him. She dodged a swing, grabbing a pipe from the ground, cracking it against the man's arm. He yelped, dropping the baton. Patel tripped the other. But Jensen, still zip-tied, crawled to the drum, kicking it, flames flaring again. Vivian dove, smothering the fire with her coat. Her hands singed. The file's safe. Sirens wailed. Police arriving. Alerted by a neighbor's 911 call. The men froze. Hands up. Jensen slumped. Defeated. Vivian panted. The neonatal log clutched tight, her eyes blazing. This is for my son. The cops cuffed the men. Jensen muttering. Morrow's untouchable. But Vivian's resolve was iron. She'd take Morrow down. Back at the Carter home. Elijah waited, his lion tight. Carter's voice soft. You scared me, Eli. Elijah's eyes were fierce. I had to help her. The phone rang. Sarah's voice. Vivian's safe. She got the files. Elijah's smile broke. A spark in the dark. Vivian, now at the police station, filed charges against Jensen. Her attorney by her side. The neonatal log locked in a safe. But Morrow's name loomed, a giant in the shadows. Social media still churned, lies about her and Elijah. But Vivian's fight was clear. She'd protect her son, no matter the cost. Her career, her life, all secondary. Elijah's lullaby. Hush, little baby. Her anchor. The storm raging, but their truth a beacon. Unyielding, unstoppable. Vivian Harris stood at the courtroom center, her judicial robes heavy as armor, the air thick with the hum of anticipation and the glare of TV cameras. Her heart pounding as she faced a packed gallery reporters, lawyers, spectators, their eyes boring into her. Elijah sat beside Mr. Carter, his foster dad, his small hands clutching his stuffed lion, his gaze locked on her. Unwavering, the neonatal log, saved from Carl Jensen's fire, burned in her memory. Proof that Elijah was her son, stolen by Mercy General's 2018 mix-up. Today's emergency hearing, called to address Elijah's custody and her role, was a crucible. The hospital's lawyers, led by a slick attorney named Grayson, flanked Dr. Elaine Morrow, whose cold stare screamed power. Vivian's voice boomed, cutting through the murmurs. I am Elijah Carter's mother. The words a thunderclap. The courtroom erupting. Gasps. Shouts. The gavel useless as reporters scribbled. Camera zoomed. Elijah's face lit up. A smile breaking. But Mr. Carter's jaw clenched. his eyes flashing betrayal. The public was split. Online posts hailed Vivian as a hero. Others branded her a liar, exploiting a child for fame. Grayson stood, voice oily. "Your Honor, this is a stunt. You're unfit to preside." But Vivian's glare silenced him. "I'm recusing myself. But the truth stands. Elijah is my son, and Mercy General will answer." She presented the log, its pages projected on a screen. Dates, signatures, the mix-up laid bare. The gallery roared, some cheering, others booing. Morrow's face paled, her hands gripping her chair. Vivian's attorney, Ms. Patel, filed a lawsuit against the hospital negligence, fraud, emotional distress demanding millions. "The stakes now public," Grayson countered. "This is speculation. No DNA proof." But Vivian's voice was steel. "Test him. I'm not afraid." Elijah nodded, small but fierce. And the judge, a stern woman named Torres, ordered an expedited DNA test. The hearing spiraled. Mr. Carter rising, voice raw. "He's my son. You can't take him." His pain gutted Vivian, her dream of reclaiming Elijah clashing with his love. The gallery split again, some chanting, "Justice," others, "Leave the boy." Vivian's eyes met Elijah's, his whisper, "I want both of you," echoing. But Grayson seized the chaos, producing a witness, a nurse, Miss Langley, her voice trembling. "I saw Judge Harris with the boy, coaching him." The lie hit like a bomb, the courtroom exploding. Vivian's blood boiled. "That's a fabrication," she shouted. Ms. Patel leaping up. "She's perjuring herself," but the damage was done. Reporters texting, posts surging, Vivian's career teetering. Torres banged her gavel. "Enough." We reconvene after the DNA results. But as the crowd dispersed, a new threat emerged. Elijah, tugging Mr. Carter's sleeve, whispered, "That nurse was at the hospital. I saw her with the bad man." Vivian overheard, her heart racing. Ms. Langley was tied to Jensen, tomorrow, a plant to discredit her. She pulled Ms. Patel aside, voice urgent. "Trace Langley. She's their pawn." Patel nodded, dialing her investigator. But Mr. Carter approached. Elijah in tow, his voice low. "You're tearing him apart. Stop this." Vivian knelt, facing Elijah, her voice soft. "I'm fighting for you, not against you." Elijah's eyes welled. "I know. Mom." The words shattered her. Mr. Carter's face crumpled. "He's all I have." Vivian stood, voice breaking. "I won't take him, but I won't lose him." The standoff was a knife, neither yielding. But headlights flashed outside, a black SUV, the same from the storage lot. Vivian's pulse spiked. "They're watching," she whispered, Patel ushering them to a side exit. The SUV's engine revved, following. Vivian's mind raced. Morrow's reach was vast. Langley's lie a warning. She hustled Elijah and Mr. Carter to her car. "Get in," she ordered. Mr. Carter hesitating. This is insane, but Elijah's voice was fierce. "Go with her, Dad." They piled in, Vivian flooring the gas, the SUV chasing, tires screeching through alleys, her hands steady despite the fear. Elijah's lion fell to the floor, his small hand grabbing hers. "You'll keep us safe," he said. And Vivian's resolve hardened. She swerved, losing the SUV in a maze of streets, pulling into a safe house Patel had arranged. Her breath ragged, the neonatal log safe in her bag. But Langley's perjury loomed, a trap to bury the truth. Miss Patel arrived, her investigator on speaker. Langley's linked tomorrow, paid to lie. Vivian's eyes blazed. "We expose her." But Mr. Carter's voice was sharp. "At what kid? He's a kid." Elijah stood, voice small but strong. "I want the truth. For Mom. For you." The room stilled. Vivian's heart splitting. She'd found her son, but his love for Mr. Carter was a truth as real as her own. The DNA test loomed. The lawsuit grew. Morrow's shadow deepened. And outside, the SUV circled, its driver unseen. A new post hitting social media. Judge Harris kidnaps boy, lies piling on lies. Vivian clutched Elijah's hand, his lullaby, her anchor. The fight no longer just for her son, but for a family fractured by secrets. The courtroom waiting, the storm unrelenting, their truth a spark refusing to die. Vivian Harris's boots skidded on the clinic's rain-slicked roof, her lungs burning as she hauled Elijah over a vent. The neonatal log proof of his stolen birth jammed in her belt. Bullets sparked off metal, the hospital's hired guns closing in, their silenced rifles flashing in the dawn. Elijah's stuffed lion fell, tumbling into the dark. Mr. Carter, his foster dad, vaulted a skylight, blood streaming from a gash on his arm. "Keep moving," Vivian shouted. The black SUV that hunted them now parked below, disgorging more guards. Elaine Morrow's conspiracy rigging baby swaps for profit had turned lethal. Social media blazed with lies, framing Vivian as Elijah's kidnapper, her judgeship in ruins. But Elijah's yell, "We stop him now," lit her fight. Miss Patel's tip led here, to trap Nurse Langley into confessing the 2018 cover-up. Vivian kicked through a roof hatch, dropping into the clinic's top floor, Elijah and Carter behind. Alarms shrieking, the sterile halls shook with boots. Vivian spun, smashing a guard's rifle with a pipe, his nose crunching, blood spraying. He fell. Elijah grabbed the rifle, small hands fumbling. "I can shoot," he cried, firing, the bullet shattering a light, sparks raining. Mr. Carter tackled another guard, their bodies crashing through a glass partition, shards flying. Vivian sprinted to Langley's office, blasting the door. Morrow whirled, clutching a flash drive. Langley screamed, spilling a gas can. "You're dead, Harris." Morrow roared, hurling a monitor. Vivian dove, the screen exploding against a wall. She tackled Morrow, wrestling the drive free. Elijah slid in, snatching Morrow's phone. Recording, he shouted. Langley sobbed. They swapped the babies. Hit a donor scam, the truth a missile. Vivian's pulse surged, a deliberate swap to dodge a transplant lawsuit. But guards stormed in, one swinging a machete, slicing Vivian's thigh. Blood gushing. She roared, swinging a chair, cracking his skull. He dropped. Mr. Carter grappled another, a knife stabbing his side. He grunted, still fighting. Elijah fired again, the shot punching a guard's shoulder, blood spurting. "Dad," he screamed. Morrow scrambled up, grabbing a fire axe, swinging at Vivian. "You'll burn." Vivian rolled, the axe embedding in a desk. She kicked Morrow's knee, bone snapping. Morrow howled, collapsing. Langley wailed, "I'll testify." Stop. But a new wave hit two guards with tasers, one zapping Carter, his body convulsing, falling. Elijah's rifle jammed. He threw it, hitting a guard's face. Vivian grabbed a scalpel from the floor, slashing a taser's wires. Sparks flying. She tackled the guard, her thigh screaming, pinning him. The second aimed at Elijah. "Drop it." Vivian threw the scalpel. It sank into his hand. He screamed, dropping the taser. Elijah kicked it away. "Got him." Carter staggered up, blood soaking his shirt. "Keep going." Vivian seized the flash drive, Langley's confession blaring. They swapped to save millions, the room a war zone. Glass crunching, blood pooling. Morrow crawled, grabbing a lighter. "You're all done." She flicked it, gas igniting, flames leaping. Vivian dove, smothering the fire with a curtain. Smoke choking. Elijah coughed. "Mom," she pulled him close. Mr. Carter smashing a guard's head into a wall. The man slumping. Sirens wailed. Police storming in. Ms. Patel's 911 call answered. Cops cuffed Morrow, her screams drowned by shouts. Langley begged, "I'll talk." "It's all true," Vivian. They handed over the flash drive. Its emails, Morrow's orders. Board bribes damning. A cop nodded. "This'll kill the hospital." But Patel rushed in, phone flashing a hacked video. Vivian's fight, twisted to show her slaughtering staff, posted by Morrow's board allies. Lies exploding online. Vivian's name trashed. A cop radioed. DNA's confirmed. "He's yours." Elijah's hand gripped hers. "We won." "Right." Vivian's voice was fierce. "Not yet." Mr. Carter's eyes met hers. Bloodied but steady. "He's ours." The truth, a shared wound. Patel barked. The board's panicking. "Meeting now." Vivian dialed a reporter. "Courthouse?" "Now." Full exposure. But a new shock hit. Gunfire erupted outside. A guard breaking free, firing at the cops, bullets shattering windows. Vivian shoved Elijah down. "Stay low." She grabbed a dropped baton, charging, cracking the guard's wrist. His gun flying. Cops tackled him. The clinic a battlefield. Smoke curling. Blood slick. Vivian stood. Flash drive raised. "This ends today." Elijah's voice rang. "For us, Mr." Carter nodded, clutching his side. Police cleared the wreckage. Morrow's cuffs clinking. Langley's sobs fading. The flash drive, the recording, their sword. Vivian's thigh bled. Her ribs cracked. But she faced the chaos. A final guard lunged, knife gleaming, aiming for Elijah. Vivian dove, taking the blade in her shoulder. Pain blinding. She twisted, snapping his arm. He screamed, falling. Cops swarmed. Elijah's arms around her. "You're okay." "Mr." Carter pulled them free. "We're alive." The board's lies loomed. The courthouse waited. Vivian's voice roared. "We finish this, their truth a weapon. The fight for a family, a future, unstoppable." Vivian Harris's fist slammed the courthouse door open, her thigh still bleeding from the clinic fight. The flash drive loaded with Dr. Elaine Morrow's conspiracy emails burning in her pocket. Elijah's small hand clutched hers. His foster dad, Mr. Carter, staggering behind. His knife wound oozing. The neonatal log and Nurse Langley's confession. Exposing Mercy General's 2018 baby swap were their arsenal. But the hospital's board had unleashed a fake video, twisting Vivian's clinic brawl into a massacre. Social media erupting, demanding her arrest. The courtroom buzzed, a war zone of reporters, cameras flashing, Judge Torres's gavel cracking as Vivian stormed in. Elijah and Carter at her heels. Ms. Patel, their attorney, shouted, "We've got proof," thrusting the flash drive. Hospital lawyer Grayson sneered. "This is a stunt," but Vivian's voice thundered. "Play the damn files." The screen flared. Morrow's emails ordering the swap to dodge a transplant lawsuit. Langley's voice confessing. The gallery exploded, cheers clashing with jeers. Grayson yelled, "She's a criminal," waving the doctored video. But Vivian's DNA match with Elijah flashed up. Undeniable. "He's my son," she roared. The crowd roared back. Torres's voice cut. Silence, but hospital-hired thugs, posing as spectators, surged forward, one swinging a brass knuckle. Vivian ducked, the metal grazing her jaw, blood trickling. She tackled him, kneeing his gut. He crumpled. Elijah grabbed a dropped phone. "I'm filming," he shouted. "Mr." Carter wrestled another thug, his wound tearing, blood soaking his shirt. "Get back," he growled. "Ms." Patel swung a chair, smashing a third's arm, bone cracking. The courtroom a melee, reporters diving, cameras rolling, bailiffs charged in, tasers sparking. Vivian flipped a thug over a bench. his head thudding. Elijah's voice pierced. They're lying. Pointing at Grayson, who bolted for the exit, Vivian sprinted, tackling him, papers flying. "You're done," she snarled, pinning him. Torres's gavel hammered. Order cops swarmed, cuffing the thugs, Grayson panting. "You can't prove intent," but Vivian played a new drive file board chair, Klein's voice approving the swap. "Save the donor program," the gallery screamed. Klein, in the back, tried to flee. Cops grabbed him. "You're under arrest," Torres's voice boomed. "Mercy General's liable, the hospital's lawsuit fraud. Negligence locked in. Billions at stake." Vivian's name cleared. But Mr. Carter stood, voice shaking. Elijah's mind, the room stilled. Elijah's eyes darted. "I need you both." Vivian's heart tore, her claim warring with his love. "We share him," she said. Carter's nod slow. "For him." But a blast shook the room. A smoke grenade bursting, choking fog flooding, screams erupting. Vivian coughed, shielding Elijah. "Stay down, mister." Carter grabbed a thug's dropped gun, firing blindly. A board-hired sniper silhouette loomed in the haze. Vivian crawled, spotting a fire extinguisher. She hurled it, smashing the sniper's scope. He cursed, falling. Cops tackled him. A hospital board lackey. "Klein paid me." He spat. The smoke cleared. Torres stood. Enough shared custody granted. Hospital pays, the gavel slammed. The crowd cheered. Elijah hugged Vivian. Mom, then Carter. Dad, their bond sealed. But Ms. Patel's phone buzzed. A board member's escape, Dr. Morrow, freed on bail, boarding a yacht. Vivian's eyes blazed. "They don't walk." She grabbed Elijah's hand. "We end this." Carter nodded. Together, they raced out, cops trailing. The marina, a new battlefield. Vivian's thigh pulsed, her jaw bruised. The yacht's engines roared. Morrow on deck, smirking. "You're too late," Vivian leapt, grabbing the railing, pulling herself aboard. Elijah shouted, "Boy!" Carter fired, winging a guard. Cops stormed the dock. Morrow swung a flare gun, firing, the shot scorching Vivian's arm. She roared, tackling her, the gun skidding. "You stole my son." She punched Morrow's jaw, blood spraying. Morrow slumped. Cops boarded, cuffing her. The yacht secured. Elijah's voice rang. "You did it." Carter climbed aboard. "We did." The board's last stand dead. The hospital's crimes exposed. Headlines shifted, judge vindicated. Boy's truth triumphs. Vivian's career saved. The lawsuit a historic win. Elijah's arms around her. Carter's hand on his shoulder. Family. Vivian panted. The marina's lights flared. Cops hauling Morrow away. Miss Patel ran up. Langley's testifying. Naming the board. Vivian's fist clenched. The conspiracy shattered. But a final alert hit a rogue board member, hiding in a safe house. Vivian's voice was steel. "We get him." Elijah's eyes shone. "I'm ready." Carter's grin was grim. "Let's finish it." They moved, cops behind. The safe house, a fortress. Vivian kicked the door. Gunfire erupted. A guard firing. She dove, rolling, grabbing a drop pistol, shooting. The guard fell. Elijah shouted. There, pointing to a trap door. Carter pried it open. The board member bolted. Vivian chased, tackling him in the dirt. No more running, cops cuffed him. The fight over. Elijah's cheer echoing. Their truth a hammer. The hospital's lies dust. Their family forged, unstoppable. Vivian Harris's car fishtailed through the city's dawn streets, her arm burning from the clinic's scalpel cut, the flash drive Mercy General's conspiracy files shoved in her pocket, Elijah's small fingers gripping a new stuffed lion in the back seat. Mr. Carter's eyes locked on the rear view, his side oozing blood through bandages. his stolen pistol ready. The hospital's board was crushed, their 2018 baby swap exposed. Elijah, her son, but Dr. Richard Hale, a rogue board member, was loose, his vengeance armed with mercenaries. Social media now cheered Vivian, her judgeship restored, shared custody with Carter, a hard-fought bond. But a black pickup surged behind, ramming their bumper. Vivian's pulse exploded. No escape. She floored it, tires screaming, pulling into the community center. A celebration for Elijah's truth packed with crowds. Banners roaring Elijah's victory. Vivian yanked Elijah out, Carter covering. Ms. Patel rushing up. Hale's here, wired with bombs. Vivian's blood roared. "We stop him," Carter snapped. "Not with him," Elijah's voice sliced. All together, the crowd roared as they hit the stage. Unaware. Vivian's speech set, her hand on the flash drive. The pickup's driver gone. The event ignited, kids chanting Elijah's name, drums pounding. But a blast rocked the hall, the roof caving. A rigged explosive detonated by Hale, debris raining, screams splitting the air. Hale repelled from the rafters, assault rifle blazing. "Harris, you're done," bullets shredded the stage. Vivian dove, shielding Elijah, plaster exploding. Carter fired, grazing Hale's thigh, blood spurting. "Get him." Sss. Patel threw a spotlight, smashing Hale's arm, his rifle jamming. Vivian grabbed a jagged beam, swinging, cracking his collarbone. He howled, pulling a detonator. "This ends now." Elijah, small but fierce, hurled a chair, tripping Hale, the detonator skidding. Vivian dove, crushing its circuits, sparks flying. Hale drew a machete, slashing. Vivian parried, the blade slicing her forearm, blood gushing. She headbutted his nose, cartilage crunching. He staggered. Carter tackled him. "Stay down," cops stormed in, guns drawn, cuffing Hale. Elijah shouting, "We won." Mom, the crowd surged, cheering through rubble. A reporter screaming, "It's viral." Patel's phone lit up. Hale's mercenaries caught. Full confessions. Vivian roared, "Mishai." "This is our family," Elijah yelled. "Yeah," Carter's nod fierce. "Ours." But a new assault crash drone swarmed through the breached roof, firing tear gas, choking fog flooding. Vivian coughed, shoving Elijah under a table. "Stay." Carter fired, blasting a drone. Sparks was showering. "Mormses," shouted, "Evacuate." Vivian grabbed a rifle from a fallen cop, spraying, downing two drones. They crashed, flames licking. A mercenary dropped from a drone, grenade launcher firing. Vivian dove, the blast shredding a wall. She rolled, grabbing a taser, zapping his chest. He convulsed. Elijah threw a pipe, smashing a drone's rotor. "Got it." Carter shot another, the crash sparking fire. A mercenary charged, flamethrower blazing. Vivian screamed, tackling him, the tank rupturing, flames singeing her arm. She slammed his head. He slumped over. Cops overwhelmed the rest. A sniper drone fired, bullet grazing Carter's leg. He fell. Vivian, she blasted it, the drone exploding, the hall a war zone smoke. Blood, rubble, Elijah's voice piercing. "We're alive." Vivian pulled him close. "Always." Carter groaned. "Our kid." Months later, the center stood reborn, a celebration bursting with families. Elijah thriving between Vivian's and Carter's homes, his laughter a spark. Vivian's task force chased swap victims, the hospital's billions fueling justice. Elijah hit the mic. "We're one family." Vivian gave him a star-etched pendant. "My son." Carter grinned. "Ours." Kids swarmed Elijah, his scarf raised high, but a final strike roared, a helicopter thundered overhead, dropping incendiaries, Fireballs hammering the lot, a rogue hospital aide, Morrow's last ally, piloting, machine guns raking. Vivian vaulted a table, shoving Elijah down, grabbing a shotgun, blasting, a rotor sparked. Get him, Carter fired. Bullet piercing the cockpit glass, blood splattering. He's hit, Ms. Yelled. Clear the hall. The chopper wobbled. Vivian aimed, firing. The tail rotor exploded. It spiraled, crashing into a field. Flames erupting. Cops swarmed, dragging the pilot, half alive. You're done, he spat. Vivian's shotgun pressed his chest. Your lies are... Elijah shouted. We stopped him. Carter limped up. Family. The crowd, gasping, cheered. A new file landed another swap victim. Vivian's voice thundered. We saved them. Elijah pumped fists. I'm ready. Carter's grip was iron. We fight. The center's lights blazed. The community a wall. Their truth a missile. No enemy could shatter them. Vivian's hand on Elijah's. Carter's at his back. The war ended. Their love ablaze. Their future invincible. Elijah's bold claims sparked a quest for truth, reuniting a family. Thanks for listening. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for more epic tales.